Welcome to Bronze and Modern Gods. I am John.
And I am Richard.
Are you really? Are you
I had to think about it for a minute. Yeah.
uncertain there?
Uncertain.
What's not uncertain is it's Monday, time for another episode. Our main topic today, scams. Comic book scams to watch out for. We're seeing more of these and more collectors getting bamboozled, ripped off. Whatever more synonyms for scams. Did I use them all?
I think you used the ones I
All
used.
right. So we're going to give you some warning signs, tell you what to look out for, and protect yourself and your collection. We also have our underrated books of the week, the 25-year rule, where we go back to 1997. And as always, we start off with our hot book of the week. Richard, what is it?
Our hot book this week is Star Wars High Republic Adventures Annual #1.
That's easy for you to say.
That's quite a mouthful. This is one of the two Star Wars titles that have very, very similar titles. There's Star Wars High Republic, and then there's the more youth-oriented High Republic Adventures. So
yeah, IDW does the adventures, which they do all the kiddie books for Marvel, and Marvel proper does High Republic. I couldn't tell you the difference between either two of them. What's the difference between Star Wars and the Star Wars High Republic?
The High Republic takes place before the trilogy, before the movie.
I lied. I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars, and I have been buying this title since it came out, and I just have not read it. I have not read it. I am guilty of
it. Kids book.
Yeah. I collect the covers. There's some awesome covers in the series. Anyway, this book is hard to find in the LCS. This is the first appearance of quite a number of people in the Star Wars universe, including someone named Bel Zettifar.
Sure.
And this is a trend in High Republic. They introduce a lot of characters, and it makes it difficult to know which characters are going to be characters that stick. So it's a lot of risk in terms of speculating in this title. If anybody has any insight into which characters out of the High Republic series are going to be more long-term characters, give us a comment and let us know, because I'm very interested.
Just from a retailer perspective, I can see why this is a tough book to find. Number one, it is a kid's title, so even though it is Star Wars High Republic Adventures, which probably is got to be one of IDW's highest selling titles, it still is not ordered in the same quantities as the real, air quotes, Star Wars titles. And the cover price on this sucker, Richard, $7.99.
Wow.
It's an annual. I get it. It's double sized. It's adventure galore for your 8 smackaroonies. But if you're a retailer, you don't want a bunch of these sitting on the shelf. So you're going to order basically who had this on their pool list and maybe one copy for the shelf.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a book that features all the different writers who have written books for the High Republic Adventure series. Right now, you can find it on eBay for $17 to $30.
Oh.
Which is amazing. There is a gorgeous, and I am mad I missed it. The Things from Another World, TFAW, has a store variant. It's limited to 700 copies, and it's selling for about $70.
Do you want it? I mean, if the cartoon premieres and you don't have it, you're going to be SOL for your TFAW.
Yeah, I know. I've spent my spec money for the week.
Okay.
So, I'll roll into it at some point this month. But I'm not putting. I have a hard time convincing myself that these first appearance books, modern first appearance books, are really, really a good investment as opposed to first appearance of an established character. So I'd rather put my money in an established character than roll the dice on somebody new.
Like Star Wars #2, first appearance of Ben Kenobi, maybe that would be a better investment.
I think so.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Well, if you are on eBay looking to buy this book, or you're on Instagram, or you're floating around, we're here to tell you to watch out, be careful, because our main topic today, we're here to increase your paranoia. Comic book scams to look out for. And there's a few of them floating around right now. Probably the most egregious one that Richard and I get DM'd about from you guys on Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods, or that we see ourselves and we kind of send each other a text like, "Oh, look at this guy. What does he think he's fooling?" Are these infamous Marvel facsimile editions being sold? And they're not pointing out that they're a facsimile editions. They're just throwing them up on eBay and saying, Werewolf by Night, number 32, first appearance of Moon Knight. And they're hoping younger collectors or people that aren't as knowledgeable just dig in and bid on it and bid on it. We've seen bids for these go up to hundreds of dollars and people getting ripped off. And your favorite book of all time, or one of your favorite books of all time, I don't want to say it's your favorite book of all time, is one of the worst offenders.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Fallout 4 is the facsimile has the same cover price. Yeah, and some of these other books, they were 25-cent books, and now they say 3.99 in the cover.
Yeah, that's not too hard to make
Yeah, that's not too hard.
distinction. Yes.
But Ultimate Fallout came out in 2011, and it was a 3.99 cover price. So the cover price is the same. The cover is almost identical, except the barcode is different. It's this thinner barcode strip or area than the original. And the word Marvel on the header has a red background on the facsimile. And that's really it. And it's disturbing how similar the book is, because if you don't know what to look for, it's very, very easy to mistake the facsimile for the original. And people are unscrupulous. They will list that book and they will restrict the information they give you. They won't lie. They won't say that but they will misrepresent the book in a way that you make assumptions about it. And you will see, they'll say something about it being the original book, but then in the actual listing detail, they'll say a reprint or they'll say facsimile. Um, it's 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 a complete misrepresentation. And this book, which goes for 3.99, I have seen listings out there. Somebody paid $800
Man.
for, and I'm hoping they got their money back. I hope they realized their error. Otherwise, somebody got away with a lot of money.
Edge of Spider-Verse number 2 is just as bad, the facsimile. The only difference is the original has the little digital code inside bug on the bottom, and there's a slight change to the same red Marvel logo. And that's it, so look out for that one as well. But there are more. You've come across one that was sort of new to me, which was the account hacking on eBay.
Yeah, it seems to be. There's examples of people who've had long-term accounts. There's one account that I know of that has over 32,000 feedback. So it's a long-term account. They were selling something unrelated to comic books completely. They obviously got their account hacked, and then someone has used their account to list a whole bunch of high-value keys, like AF-15 and Ultimate Fallout 4, the variant edition, a whole bunch of these keys with auctions of $1.
Mm.
But the tricky thing is, if you read the description, what they want you to do instead of bidding, they say very specifically, don't bid on this auction. We are looking for $4,800 for this book. And they want you to contact them, and they want to do a transaction off of eBay. So they want you to give them your $4,800 and without any protection. The one thing eBay gives you, the one positive thing that eBay gives you as a buyer is that protection. If there's an issue with the transaction, they step in as a middleman and will help iron out the problems, either give you a refund or help you work with the seller in order to get a satisfactory outcome. If you do not complete the transaction on eBay, if you send somebody money over PayPal directly or a Venmo transfer, you're out of that money. If
Yeah.
something happens, there is really no recourse, and they're trying to do that. So there's a lot of ways you can look out for this stuff. First of all, when you're buying, look at the seller. Look at the seller's feedback. And that was the real giveaway when I first saw one of these things. The guy had 32,000 feedback, but none of it was recent. and absolutely none of it was in the comic book genre. It was something completely different.
Engine parts. For some reason, it always seems to be engine parts.
Yeah, they're basically tearing apart engine.
Yeah.
Watch out for zero feedback people. It's not saying they're bad. It's just they have no experience. So I would be very, very reluctant to spend $5,000 on a comic book with someone who has never sold a comic book before on eBay. They may not know how to pack it. They may not know about insurance. There's all kinds of things. I don't want to be their guinea pig. Let somebody else do that. Also, when you look at a feedback, make sure the person has seller feedback. You can, and the feedback number is just a straight up number. It doesn't differentiate between how many uh, feedback they've gotten as a seller or a buyer. So if there's all buyers, again, they really have no experience selling, and that may be something you want to be concerned about.
Yeah, there are other scams too on Facebook Marketplace. I see a lot of people in these comics for sale groups. Not a lot, but I see it more than I like to see, where it is a major key like an Incredible Hulk 181, and it's a picture front and back. It looks legit. And then someone in the comment, thank goodness for the community looking out. There's someone in the comments like, why is this the same set of pictures from this eBay auction that ended 2 months ago? And then the guy will come back and be like, I just reused the pictures. I'm the one that bought the book. Okay, post some new pictures for us. And then crickets. So, we've said it before. We had a whole episode about eBay and our issues with eBay, but anywhere, eBay, whatnot, Instagram, Facebook, if it's too good to be true, it is, you guys. I know sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to, get this before someone else because everyone else is too nervous about it. And I may hit a home run. You're not going to hit a home run. It's just not going to happen. I may have told the story on the podcast before, personal experience. Bought a copy of Young Men, I think number 29, which was a really scarce Atlas Marvel Heroes book from the 50s. The guy sent it to me. It was the J.C. Penney 1994 reprint, and I guess he thought I was just going to take it. No, opened up a case, sent it. To his credit, this is one example where I think he actually did not realize it was a reprint, and he gave me my money, or he got caught. He's like, I don't want to ruin my feedback, and got me the money back like the next day. Here's a big hint on that one. The back ad is an ad for Clearasil. Clearasil did not exist in 1954.
That is quite a giveaway. Yeah, yeah. I'm also wary of foreign sellers. I have been caught in here is this rare book for $99 or $85, and I jump on it because I'm thinking, okay, I found it before somebody else did. You jump on it, and then you realize after you've paid, it's a South Korean seller, and it's going to be over 30 days before you get the book. And they're running some scam where they're waiting you out in terms of getting the ability to get a refund. Fortunately, eBay caught on to that. You have the ability to flag a transaction. eBay gave me my money back in that case, and the seller was banned. But if you don't know, if you're not paying attention, and people prey on the fact that people are greedy. I was greedy. Yeah. Yeah, you don't pay it. Always be skeptical in transactions, and unless it's someone you've bought from before, be skeptical.
We've seen mandates lifted, things opening back up big time the last 2 weeks. Shows are back. I don't know what that's going to do to this internet comic market that has really exploded the last 2 years. Now that shows are back, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it seems to me like maybe it's the time to keep some money aside for conventions and see books up close, face to face, where you can look at them and see the corners and see if there's a Sharpie, see if there are two staples, if there's a centerfold attached, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just glad that things are opening up. I don't know.
No, I hear you.
There was a point there somewhere.
No, there's this whole trust factor we were talking about is because we are buying things remotely and we are trusting the seller 100% to honor the transaction that we've established. It's much, much more difficult to be underhanded when you are face to face and you have the book in your hand and you can look at it and examine it and guarantee that that book, is the right book. Still, you could be taken. There is a famous counterfeit version of Cerebus the Aardvark #1.
Yeah.
And people, it's so famous, it has a value. People value, it's not just worth nothing. It's worth a decent amount of money. But people can misrepresent even in person. Is the point. You really need to do your research and know what you want to buy. Don't just buy blindly. Buy with information and be informed.
All right, Richard. Hopefully these are some good tips to help protect the community. But if we've missed anything, if you've come across any new scams, leave them in the comments and we'll share them on our bonus episode, because we are always on the lookout. We're always on the lookout for a good deal, or also for a good thing to make fun of and text to each other. Like, look at this guy, look what he's trying to get away with. Well, I also am really racking my brain to think of a really clever transition and or a segue to the 25-year rule. But I don't have one. So let's just get into it.
Right into it.
This year's 25-year rule is a book near and dear to my cold, dead heart. That is Incredible Hulk number 449. The first appearance of one of my favorite super teams right after the champions, the Thunderbolts, the original champions. The Thunderbolts, we all know them, we love them. If you have not read the Thunderbolts, I don't know how many times we can tell you to do so. There was a lot of spec around this book last year,
right?
If you'll remember, because the Contessa Fontaine de la Rosa Chipotle Guacamole, whatever her name was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and everybody immediately started speculating that meant the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts were coming. And so this book really took off last year. It's cooled down a bit. So if you don't have this is a really good time to buy the dip. GPA's CGC 9.8 average for this book, 90-day average, is $629. That's down from the 12-month average of $760. So a little bit of a savings there. And just if you're on the search for this book, be aware there are direct and newsstand editions. I've seen the newsstand of this. I have a newsstand of this. It's not a 9.8. It is I don't know, 9.2-ish maybe. You have this, right?
I've sold it. So yeah, I don't have it anymore.
How dare you?
No, it's great. It's a great book, really. I mean, it's got a surprise ending. Those are always the best.
Well, this isn't the surprise ending. This is the first appearance where they just fight the Hulk and they look like superheroes, and it's building up that mystique.
Right.
And then it's continued in Thunderbolts 1, where they drop the bomb on you with the surprise ending.
Excellent story. Definitely read it.
Yeah. This is the teeing up of, look at how great these guys are and how heroic they are, and then you're like, oh wow, Thunderbolts, new Marvel team. I'm going to pick up the first issue, and then you get kicked in the nads at the end. Really hard. All right, so 25-year rule out of the way. Time for our underrated books of the week. Richard, I like yours. It's interesting. Yours is a year before mine.
Is it really?
Well, yours is 2000 AD, and mine is 2001.
Yeah, they were looking to the future. I'm a big British comic fan, big Judge Dredd fan, and one of the main characters of the Judge Dredd mythos is Judge Death. His first appearance is in 2000 AD, Prague 149. They call them Pragues, not issues.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a British comic. If you've never seen a British comic, especially the 2000 AD stuff, they're more like, I don't want to call them fanzines. They're newsprint,
tabloid size newsprint stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're different from American comics, but they serve the same purpose. They tell episodic stories, and it's just a different feel, different vibe for an American comic. So this is the first appearance of Judge Death, who is a main recurring villain for Judge Dredd. Judge Death is a a individual who has been he's an undead judge, let's just put it that way, and he sees life as a crime, and passes judgment on people and basically kills them. He has a circle of other judges. There's a Judge Fear, Judge Mortis, Judge Fire. So the four horsemen kind of concept, and they're all the same undead judges, and they wreak havoc in Mega City One, the city that Judge Dredd presides over. Yeah, think of Batman Who Laughs. I think this is the prototypical character that they took the inspiration from to make the Batman Who Laughs. This character is just pure evil. He's the kind of character you love to hate. Um, and it's like I said, it's a primary villain for Judge Dredd. Apparently, the Judge Dredd movie that they made from 2012, which I actually loved, I thought was a great movie. Was going to have a sequel called Judge Dredd 2 because the original, and Judge Death was supposed to be the primary villain for that movie, but the movie was never made. I think these Judge Dredd movies go in cycles. The Judge Dredd comes in and out of the public consciousness, and it will come back again, and we will have a Judge Dredd 2. And I think the logical villain for that movie is Judge Death. So picking up this book, which is his first appearance, is it's a good play. It's the problem with this book is that since it is a tabloid size, CGC has not slabbed this book. I cannot find a record of CGC actually encapsulating this.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, it's unfortunate, and I don't know if it's just my inability to search the census properly, because
Because I think they do slab because it's considered a magazine, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Anybody who's got this slab, please let us know, because I've tried looking it up on the census and I have been unable to find anything. So if it is slab, that's wonderful. If you are looking for a slab book, there is a book called Necropolis: The Judge Death Invasion, which is a great storyline, along with Judge Anderson, who is from the Psi Division, who's another primary character. It's from 1991, a little later. It has been slabbed. There is one copy on the census on 9/6, but it's a great story, in my opinion. It's another great Judge Death story. It's talking about him invading in force. It's a good storyline. So yeah, if you're a Judge Dredd fan, you want to see more than what the movies have provided to you, and at the same time, maybe have some spec value. I think this book, the Prog 149, is a good pick. If not, the Necropolis: The Judge Death Invasion is another book to pick up.
Wow, 2000 AD. What a book. I mean, just revolutionary, whether you guys know it or not, because it didn't get a lot of distribution here except in comic shops in the 80s. But
And the sad thing is, 2000 AD was 22 years ago.
I know. And it's so funny you pick that, because we go from 2000 AD to the far, far future of 2001, A Space Odyssey, number 8 from my underrated book of the week. This is, of course, the first appearance of Mr. Machine, now known as Machine Man. Of course, they had to change the name of Mr. Machine because there was a toy called Mr. Machine, and they had the trademark and the copyright, so Marvel didn't want to get sued. Great Jack Kirby creation. Aaron Stack, X-51, the robot who thinks like a man. Is he a man? Thanks to the monolith from 2001, he's given a soul, so he's a man. Had to write the monolith out after they lost the rights to 2001. There was another X-51 series in the late 90s, early 2000s that kind of took care of that. A GPA 90-day average for a CGC 9.8 is $980 on this. Did you realize this? That's down, Richard. Did you know this was a $1,000 plus book last year?
Holy moly, I had no idea.
People love them some Jack Kirby. They love them some Machine Man, including me. It gets better. Of course, at this time in 1977, there is a 35-cent variant as well that is out there, but we haven't seen any significant sales of one in over 2 years. So that one is super scarce. The highest graded one that has been recorded for selling is 9.2. And now you were freaking out because 2000 AD was 22 years ago. What if I told you this year was Machine Man's 45th anniversary?
Wow. That's
Yes.
insane.
I
Okay.
bought this off the rack. I did. Sorry. It's great. Yeah, Marvel knew, Jack knew what side their bread was buttered on. The last 3 issues of 2001 are basically the first 3 issues of Machine Man. It becomes a Machine Man solo title. And then someone smartly said, why are we paying licensing rights for 2001 when we own this character? We introduced it. Let's just give him his own book. They changed his name to Machine Man, and there ran for 9 issues. Out of the Kirby solo books that he did on his return to Marvel in the late 70s, this was the bestseller. So when Jack left Marvel again to go into animation, they revived it 6 months later because it was a good seller. And he's been around as a character. He's an Avenger, believe it or not. Machine
I
Man
did
is
not know
an
that.
Avenger. Yes.
Did not know that.
And along with his off-time love, Jocasta, the robot. They make mad, passionate robot love, lots of lubrication. Sorry.
I'm still stuck at it being $1,000 book. This is one of those books that you found in dollar bins forever.
Yeah, and here it is. If there's any way to make sure that we are known as the Old Man Podcast, it's for us to keep mentioning books we found in dollar bins for years.
I remember Star Wars #1. People
I, I remember Giant Size X-Men. I used to wipe dog poop off my shoe with it.
Oh, yes, we are.
No, that's always been a valuable book. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you, everyone. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the notification bell. All of that helps us out, and we will see you later this week for our bonus episode. Thank you, Richard.
All right, thank you, John, and everybody stay safe.